Well, here we're looking at a timber frame, grade 2 listed, although to be absolutely honest I don't know why it's grade 2 listed. And I'm just going to pick up a few problems and faults with this because it's a very good example of the sorts of things that you can encounter. First of all, we've had what I would describe, I think, as Wally Carpenter doing some repairs here, and he's scarfed. I think you can see here, it's rather bright, but you can see he's scarfed on a piece of timber on the bottom. Now, if you look at that, you'll see that it's cut horizontally. So when it rains, this is not draining. Water is hitting this joint and it's able to wick into the timber. It's not draining. This should be cut on an angle so that it is draining, and similarly this section here should be cut upwards on an angle like that so that it can drain out. So it's a repair done wrong, it's just squared off and not done properly. Now the other thing is, you can see that this timber is heavily coated. This is not a good thing to have. This is heavily coated in tar, and I can take off this stuff, and underneath this is very, very soft timber. And if you look at that, you can see that incredibly soft, almost corky timber, and that is what tar does to timber. It destroys it. Here we've got a joint absolutely chock-a-block. I don't know what it is, but this is the sort of stuff, it's just horrible. It's just a mastic that is trapping moisture, and you can see where that mastic has been. The timber is soft and it's all rotten on the inside. We haven't bought this place yet, so I don't want to make it too obvious. Now, here we've got new timber, the new sill beam which has been put in, a new piece of timber going up, and instead of tenoning this timber into the tie, what they've done is they've just butted it in, which is not a very nice joint. Doesn't work very well. And you'll notice above this there's another problem, in that this used to be a mortise, and this vertical post had a tenon on the end of it which slotted into this mortise, so there was a hole in the middle of this piece of wood. Now that mortise is now full of water, or has been got full of water over the years, and you can see this is all rotten and falling apart, so it's going to need all this rot. Again, you can see just rotten timber. All this rot needs to be cut out. One other problem that you've also got here is that these are brick infills laid in cement, and whenever the cement is in contact with the timber like this, the timber is soft on the edge because the cement has been touching it and trapping moisture. And then we come along here and we've got more. This is all completely rotten timber. Most of this is oak. We've got another, again you can see the mortise completely rotten. You can stick your thing in here and just go right through the timber. On the end we've got holes just filled with tar, not very good. And again here, tar, rotten timber underneath them. Up the top there you can see it's a queen post structure, but if you look carefully you'll see that the queen post, if I zoom in, is much more recent, and it's been inserted into the tie beam of the crux. That one and that one, both of them inserted into the tie beam, so they're not very pretty. and you'll notice they're looking pretty poor. If we climb up, you can see that the tie beam here has been completely filled with tar. So this is rotting beautifully underneath. There's great gobs of tar. This is completely disintegrating. There is absolutely nothing left of this whatsoever. And the reason, if you look at this timber, you will see that it's very fine grained, quite silvery grain to it, and there are beetle holes all the way through it. And that's very typical of elm. It's quite a light coloured wood. It's got a very fine fleck to the grain. It's a silverish colour, and beetle are going right through. In oak, normally beetle will only attack the sapwood, not the heartwood. So that's how we know this is a piece of elm. And it's probably much later than the frame, and it's been let in, very crude repair, let into the tie beam. And of course this has all allowed the tie beam to rot. So this tie beam, I think, is going to get completely replaced. Not the cheapest of jobs in the world. And of course the weight of these bricks, this frame was not made to carry bricks, it was made to carry wattle and daub. Half the weight. If we quickly move round the frame, you'll see that it's got a bow to it up on the front here, and that bow is because the wall plate up there has snapped. And again, I can try and zoom in, and you'll see that that wall plate is cracked in the middle of that joint. You'll see a horizontal or nearly horizontal line going through the middle of it. It's also cracked here, and you can see up the top there that is cement filling the crack, so it's not particularly strong. Now then, this vertical post we're looking at is actually the only surviving truss that's left. There is still a truss up in the roof structure. This was a 4-bay building, and there were other trusses here. There was another one on this. This was one of them. Unfortunately, it is now no longer a truss, and that has, the fact that it's been taken out of the roof has allowed the timber to move outwards, so it's now flexing out. You'll notice this middle beam cut off and hanging in mid-air, so all of this brickwork is waving around in the wind. It's not very happy at all. This piece down here, it's doing nothing. This piece of timber you're looking at, ideally, should be coming right down to the base. It doesn't, so everything can move. So really that's a bit of an intro, a few issues and problems with a typical timber frame, the sorts of things we look for, the cement pointing, cement in the joints, which is absolutely not what we like to see. Cement around the edges here, wherever you remove the cement, the timber is soft. Ideally what I would do is remove the cement pointing, expose the edge, and then I would fill it with oakum and lime putty over the top of it so that you've got a breathable edge. At the moment moisture is being trapped into the edge of the timber and it's causing rot to the timber. We've got all sorts of fillers in here. Wherever you've got filler, you've got rot. So our job here is going to be to get rid of all these fillers and try and get the place breathing again, which hopefully we can do. So there you go.